Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I would like to talk to you about a book that I read a while ago, but that scarred me for life and that I still remember it even after months of reading it. I'm talking about The Girl Next Door by Jack Ketchum. And why I'm talking to you about this book? Because a few nights ago I was looking for movies to watch, and at the moment I'm interested in documentaries kind of stuff. So what I was looking for was something like that. And I found out about this movie called An American Crime, which stars Elliot Page. It's a coincidence because the last video that I talked about was Hard Candy that starred Elliot Page as well. But I don't want to talk about that movie. But that is the actual story that Jack Ketchum based this book from. Seen from the point of view of a young guy named David that is 12 years old, talks about the story of Meg, who goes living with this woman, Ruth, that is supposed to take care of her, but as time goes on, she starts to become abusive towards this young girl, and eventually leads to her unfortunate death. I'm giving you a lot of spoilers, so I should have told you about that before, but anyway. This book is very intense, and the description of the physical, verbal, and sexual abuse of this poor girl Meg is described in detail, and it's very difficult to read this book. Knowing that this is a true story, it makes it even harder. It's really well written, I liked it, but still it's something that I don't think I will ever read again because it's very painful, physically painful and mentally painful to read. That's something that I have to tell you if you want to approach this book. It's really well written anyway, and it's probably a masterpiece in the horror genre, because you can consider this book horror considering what it talks about. Ketchum is able to show the perverted side of the human nature and the consequences that come from silence about violence and abuse when someone is witnessing an injustice and doesn't do anything about it. And it also talks about how violence can be infectious, how humans can be capable of these kind of things if they give in to peer pressure. And that's basically what happens in this book with the character David, that at the beginning is very in sync with Meg, because he likes her a little bit, but eventually, as soon as the abuse starts, he also joins the others, and it's something that makes you think about it, because even if you don't want to do something, sometimes peer pressure leads you to do actions that are unjustifiable and disgusting, and you know everything in between. David not participating in the tortures per se doesn't stop them either. Children think it's okay to go with it because an adult is allowing them to happen, and this is Ruth. There is a total bitch in the book, and I can say that because it's true. It's a character that really unnerves me, and it's based on the character of Gertrude Banizewski, that is the one that took care of Sylvia Likens, that is the actual name of the girl Meg that is portrayed in the book. This story is horrifying, and if you want to know more about it, let a comment down below, and maybe I'll do a video about it, even if it's a difficult subject to deal with. And but anyway, this story is really, really bad, and if you want to know more about it, you can also look online. There are a lot of information about this story because it's really popular. It happened in the 60s, if I remember well, and this book is set about that time, probably in the 50s, if I remember well. But this book shows you also the kind of mentality that there was at the time, the fact that women didn't really have power, and how men were basically treating them like shit, and that happened all the time. It happened also with the character of Ruth, and we might sympathize with her because of what happened to her in life, like, because I know she was like a mother with a lot of children by herself, taking care of all these kids, but at the same time, you think about all the action that led her to do all this shit to Meg, and then you think, I don't know if I want to sympathize with her anymore, and eventually you just hate her. And when you think that this character is an actual person that in real life actually did this kind of stuff, you get even angrier about it. The fact that the other children think it's okay to go on with the violence just because an adult is allowing them to do this is because at that time children had a different concept of adults and authority. So they were more respectful towards everything they said, even if something that they were saying was totally wrong and they shouldn't listen to them, but still they pay attention to everything they were saying and basically following their instructions and their orders, even when these orders led to horrible actions. And this is an example of what happened in real life and also in the book. Basically, this book talks about this woman Ruth that takes care of the two daughters of a friend because they couldn't take care of them, and basically they were sending her money so that she could provide for them. But when the money didn't arrive, basically that when shit hit the fan and everything started to go wrong, because Ruth was frustrated about this and decided to take her anger on the girls, especially on Meg, that was the older one. Also, Meg is young and beautiful, and Ruth is jealous of her popularity, even if Meg is not really doing anything to attract boys. She's just beautiful, and people just like her because she's a nice person. And Ruth, that is now a middle-aged woman, doesn't attract the same attention that she was before, and that's why she's jealous about it. This book escalates in horror slowly, making you more and more uncomfortable as you go on with reading. And the characters, even if they start mildly, if you can call it that, with the violence, eventually they take it too far and eventually lead to the death of the main character. Don't read this book if you're not in the mood for it, because it will bring you down very fast, and this doesn't mean that it's a bad book, but it's just very difficult to go through it. If you think about that, this is a real story, the real story of Sylvia Likens, and the real culprit got away with this murder. This makes you really angry because it's pretty messed up. If I compare it to Gerald's Game, that was already pretty difficult in some pages to go through, because also in that book there was violence, sexual assault, and things like this. This one goes on another level. It will make you sick to your stomach and make you really depressed in some pages, especially the second part of the book, because it makes you feel worse and worse as you go on with the reading. That's why I don't want to demonize this book, because it's actually well written and is one of the most famous book by Jack Ketchum. But at the same time, I feel like I have to warn you about this because it's a really difficult read, and that's why I don't think I will ever read it again. For me, once it was enough. And there are some movies made from this book and from this story. One of them, as I told you, is An American Crime, and the other one is The Girl Next Door, and they're both from 2007. This book is very brutal and devastating, and it's an emotional journey that will leave you not in a good mood by the end of the book. The reason why Ruth is such a wretched bitch is because she's trapped in a life that is unsuccessful, something, a life that she didn't want, with a failed marriage and no job and 3 kids to take care of. She sees herself deprived of the success that she and the beauty that she once had, and that she could have had, and she sees in Meg beauty and a girl who could get everything in the world if she only wanted to, and Ruth can't accept that. Also, this book talks about the unfair treatment of women in those times and how they were seen in society, and you actually see how David and his father are the product of those times where women were seen as just things, not people. Basically, this is why Ruth is so frustrated with her life, because and she wants to portray this into Meg, making her a thing. She uses her as a voodoo doll where to put pins for the pain that she's suffering. This is all I can tell you about this book. If you want to know more about this story, there are plenty of information online that you can find, and there are these movies that I talked to you about. But if you want to know more about the book or something else, just leave a comment down below and I'll be happy to reply if I'm able to. As promised, I was trying to do more videos. I'm a bit late this month. I started a new job, so it was a bit difficult to deal with all this stuff, and that's why this video comes so late, but eventually I made it, and I thank you for watching. If you like this video, give it a thumb up, and if you're not subscribed, subscribe to the channel. It really helps me to make the channel grow, and I will really appreciate it. I will see you to the next one, and enjoy your day. Bye.